Welcome, everyone, to the dance floor, where life lessons are learned through the art of dance. I'm your host, Anna Harsh, and today I have a very special guest, Miss Rossilynne Culgan. She's the author of 100 Things to Do in Pittsburgh Before You Die. Rossilynne, welcome to the dance floor.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am new to the Pittsburgh area, kind of. I went to college at Slippery Rock University, so I'm not super new to Pittsburgh. I've been going in and out of the city for many years now to see shows and all kinds of crazy events and stuff. But today I thought you could talk about a little bit of arts and theater, maybe some dance or some events that you know of that maybe we as dancers are new to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you get to claim Pittsburgh as home. If you've been in and out of the city for a while, if you want to claim it, you ought to claim it.
I'm claiming it. I love it. I love the city. I love when you go. I know it's a little crazy through that tunnel, but as soon as you get out of that tunnel, I love that burst of light and all of the energy that you feel.
It's magical.
As dancers and choreographers, we want to feel that too on stage. When you first hit the stage and the lights come up, you want to feel that energy. So I'm ready for some new events or maybe something different to try this year. What do you got, Rossilynne?
Yeah. So among the 100 things, there are many that are arts and culture related. That was a category that I loved writing. So the book is divided into different categories. So there's food and drink, there's arts and culture, history, recreation, shopping, little something for everybody. And one of my favorites in the arts and culture category related to dance is we're so lucky to have in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Ballet Theater. What an amazing, amazing place. So coming up in October, they have what's called Storytelling in Motion. That's going to be at the August Wilson African American Cultural Center. And if you haven't been to that venue before, it's really extraordinary. And of course, you're in for an amazing show. So that's going to kick off their current season, actually. And they're bringing in these internationally acclaimed choreographers. And they promise, I'm quoting from them, innovative, thought-provoking, and athletic performances. So I feel like that is something that's going to be a sight to see.
I just got a chance on June 10th, I believe, to perform with the company. Kind of. They had an outdoor open air series, and my company was invited to perform, and we loved it. It was such a great adventure and so inspiring to see the dancers on stage, just something different to aspire to. And I think maybe I will be working with the company, a school, I believe, possibly soon, to teach them a little bit of Italian dance repertoire. So
fun.
I'm excited.
Fantastic.
So in October that happens, this brand new
happens in October. Yes. So mark your calendar for that. And then I also have to give a shout out. Of course, it's a little bit early. It's still summer outside, but if you go to the Nutcracker every year, make sure to get your tickets. If you don't go to the Nutcracker every year, make it one of your traditions with your family. The Pittsburgh Ballet Theater's performance is truly it just transports you. It just feels like you're in this enchanted, magical place. So definitely get your tickets for that. That's, of course, in December at the Benedum Center, which is itself a fabulous venue.
And there is a little metro or the T that you can take to Wood Street, which is a short walk to that area that you're talking about. So like for me, I can catch that T and take it to Wood Street and then walk over to the venue. It's really nice. I catch it from the South Hills section, the South Hills Mall. And so if you don't want to drive into the city, even though that's crazy and fun, you can take the T. So that's another way to get there. And then give a little stroll, a walk, to the theater. That's so exciting to dress up and go to see the Nutcracker. Like you said, that's so magical. And that's so fun with your family. I usually take dancers. We go as a dance family and, share that moment and take photos outside of the theater. I love it.
I do too. And maybe if there's just even a little sprinkling of snow, it just adds to the whole ambiance.
So magical. I love it. I can't wait for Christmas. And the Market Square there always has that Christmas little place to shop before you could go.
Yeah, you can make a whole day of it, really. And one of my favorite things to do around the holidays is just walking around downtown and seeing all of the lights. There's, of course, Christmas lights in Market Square. And then the old Horns building has a beautiful tree on the side of it. So just getting to walk around the square, shopping at the market and admiring all the decorations, top it off with a performance. It's a perfect day.
Okay, well, what is one more event? Or you had a couple,
So
I
I've
thought.
got two more for you.
Okay.
So the next one is Shakespeare in the Park. Pittsburgh actually has a really extraordinary Shakespeare in the Park company, and they've been performing for quite some time. I believe it's decades, actually. So if you haven't done this one yet, definitely add it to your bucket list. And this year, their performances are going to be in the month of September. One thing that's great about Shakespeare in the Park is that they do performances in parks around the region. So if you're near Frick Park, Highland Park, Westinghouse Park, Shenley Park, excuse me, Shenley Plaza, I mean, there's a performance for you. So they're outdoors. This year, the show is A Midsummer Night's Dream. So really going to be this magical romantic comedy. It's nice to be able to see a comedy out under the stars. You can bring your blanket, bring your family, and just settle in for a nice night of theater.
I love that. There's a lot of different Shakespearean theater kinds of events throughout the whole country. So why not? Why not right here in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh area? Bring that blanket, bring your family, make a picnic of it. I love that idea. I don't think I've done that in Pittsburgh before. I've done it in other cities, and that's so great. And I've had a lot of friends that are like, I'm auditioning for Shakespeare in the Park. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm coming to your show. So that is in September, you said?
Yes, that's coming up in September, and you can choose. There are some twilight shows, and then there also are afternoon shows. So you can really choose one that's close to you and that fits with your schedule, especially if you have little kids who need to get ready for bed because school season is starting. You can do one of the afternoon shows. It's especially a great way, I think, to introduce little ones to Shakespeare. You're not
Yeah.
in what's maybe more of a formal atmosphere. It's outside. So there's a lot to look at, a lot to see. And, it's something that all ages, I think, can really enjoy.
And that's great for a family to come home and say, well, let's start a conversation about that. Well, what is Shakespeare? And maybe they want to start reading a little bit of Shakespeare to inspire them to be a writer or, do theater or help out backstage in theater. So you never know where your inspiration comes from. What's your next one, Rosalind? That was a good one.
So my next one is something really special that's coming to Pittsburgh. It's called the Carnegie International. This is happening at Carnegie Museum of Art in Oakland. And the International is this huge show. It truly is international. It comes to Pittsburgh every few years, and they're bringing artists from countries all over the world. This year, I believe it's around 70 artists they have announced so far. So there are artists convening from coast to coast and all around the globe where you get to see their work right here in Pittsburgh without traveling. So it's a really special show. And it's the second oldest international art exhibition in the world, just behind the Venice Biennale, which of course is a massive show. So the fact that we have something like this in Pittsburgh is really special.
And that's at the Carnegie Museum.
Carnegie Museum of Art in Oakland. Yes, it is.
That's fantastic. Okay, that's what I want to go to for sure. I love culture, as you know, and I love taking dance from all around the world, like all kinds of cultures. I've taken like Irish step dancing and flamenco dancing and even dances from Thailand. I tried my hand and body at, but I wasn't very good at it, but I love to experience it because it gives us a different way to look at movement and just to be inspired by other cultures. Oh, that's fantastic. And when is that again?
So that's going to start on September 24th and it runs until April 2nd. There's a long time that you get
Oh,
to see
so
this. You can even
we
go
have
more
a
than once.
yes. And so I'm looking for things personally for my big birthday. Let's just say there's a big birthday coming up. And
Fantastic.
so I'm going to think about a weekend in Pittsburgh to celebrate. And I think that might be on my list.
Yeah. And I think what you'll see when you go there is, of course, you get your classic art hung on the walls, which is an amazing experience in and of itself. But you also see a lot of installation art. Is what I imagine. I of course don't know exactly what we're going to see this year, but based on years past, there's a lot of installations that you can see throughout the museum, and truly the art just takes over the space. So as someone who is thinking about space on stage and the way that you move your body and the way that you're designing the look of a show, I think seeing this for someone who loves dance is probably going to be pretty inspirational.
That's what I was just going to say. I go to museums in general just to find new inspiration or just to be inspired by colors or design. Sometimes it's from fashion, sometimes it's from art, and sometimes it is from installations, so much so that, as you can see behind me, I have an installation of my own in my home of tambourines from different places around the world, especially Italy, and from teachers and professors that have gathered tambourines that they've played with and donated them to me. So yeah, I love that. And just to see things in a space in a new way does get your brain thinking. If you're out there as a choreographer, this is something great to see for sure, to be inspired. Rosalind,
Absolutely.
speaking of inspiration, so what inspires you? I know you wrote this book, and I know you are a writer for different kinds of things. What drives you to write something unique?
Well, I think the driver for me for this book, as well as sort of a lesson that I've learned throughout the process, is this idea of being a hometown tourist. So often it's so easy for us to just kind of get into a rut. You know, we go to the same restaurants, we get takeout from the same places, we do the same things. But what inspires me, experiencing something new, seeing something new, smelling something new, being able to have that like really embodied experience. And then also seeing other people do the same thing. So when I was working on the book, even if they're places that I'd been before, I would try to go with a friend or family member and watch through their eyes as they were seeing something for the first time and just kind of figuring out what that exploration looks like. I mean, frankly, all we have is time, right? So I think we should spend our time wisely and try and get out and explore the place that we live.
They always say, explore your hometown first. And I totally agree. There's so many things in many cities that I've lived in that I go back to. I'm like, gosh, I've never seen that before. Or I'll go with a new friend maybe, and I try new things because I go to where they liked. And I've never been to that place, maybe to new restaurants or new showcases or new museums that are popping up that you haven't explored yet. So I love that. Yeah, I get inspired by doing what you said, going to different places and exploring those things, and just trying new things and learning every time you go somewhere, taking notes. Sometimes I'll come home and just write down what I learned or what I saw to remember that and remember the feeling that you had when you first walked into whatever. So
definitely. One of the things I love is when readers of the book, it's a really utilitarian, it's a paperback book. It's something you can throw in your glove compartment, and when you're out and about, pull it out and come up with some ideas of what to do. And I love when I see readers jot down in the margins, I went to Permane Brothers, for example, on August the 11th, and I was there with Anna and we ate this and that, and just kind of writing down what that experience was like and making it not just a book, but also something that's a journal of sorts.
I think that's the first place I learned years ago as a college student that fries on a sandwich was okay and good.
Yes, and fries on a salad, also delicious.
Oh my gosh, yes. Amen. Amen to fries on a salad.
But I'll take both fries and croutons if I had my pick.
Yeah. I love that. It's a great place to eat too. So if you haven't stopped in there, for sure, that's a unique place, and I loved it too. Rosalind, I know that as artists, whether you write or dance or sing or do artwork, we learn a lot along the way. Do you have any life lessons that you'd like to pass on that maybe the next generation could learn from, that you're like, gosh, I wish somebody would have told me that?
I think staying curious is one of the most important things as a writer and honestly, as a human. I try to listen more than I talk. I try to observe people and just see how they're interacting with the space, what kinds of experiences they're having. I thought I knew a lot about Pittsburgh when I wrote this book. I lived there all my life. My grandmother was interviewed on a WQED history special. Like, I thought I knew the city, but I found out how much I had to learn. And that experience of being curious, being open-minded, trying new things, getting out of my comfort zone truly helped me to write this book, helps me as a journalist, and I think just makes for a more well-rounded life.
Yeah. And I've learned that by doing that, by staying curious, I mean, as an artist, I meet new amazing people all the time, like yourself. Wow, that's inspiring. I never thought about writing about that, or, doing those things or trying these new adventures. And it kind of makes you to level up, like bring up your game to do something new and different that you maybe can just be a little bit better at now. Every day I learn something new that I'm like, wow, I wish I would have known that yesterday, So
Yes,
I,
exactly.
I make a point to learn something, even if it's really super small, to learn something new every day. So yeah, stay curious, keep learning. We don't know everything, thank God.
Yes, exactly. There's always more to learn for sure, and new
Yeah,
people to meet, which I have loved that during this whole experience, meeting folks like yourself as well, and being able to talk about what people are creating in Pittsburgh and what they're dreaming of creating and how people can work together. I love that about the city. I think people are really collaborative here.
I do too. I think that that's what I've noticed since I've moved into this area and ever since I went to college in this area. The more that I stay here, I've learned that other people are like, yeah, let's do that together. And that is something that really is nice to know that there are kind people out there that do want to collaborate and don't feel that, weird jealousy thing that a lot of people experience maybe through life. And they're like, yeah, if we work together, gosh, we can achieve something bigger. The goals and dreams can be even bigger than what you dreamed. So can't wait. Yeah, we've got lots of things in the works myself. So I'm excited for bigger dreams to come down and make those things happen in Pittsburgh area. Rosalind, where can we find your book and where can we find more about your writings?
Yes, so my book is available at 100thingspittsburgh.com. And if you order through there, just tell me how to personalize it and I will sign it for you. Or if you're giving it as a gift, sign it for your gift recipients. And my website is rossilynne.com. And I'm currently working on a Pittsburgh history book. So that's what's next for me. It's a daunting project, but that's
My
what's
gosh,
next.
I can't wait for that. That sounds exciting. I would love to know more about it. Like I said, I've loved the city forever and can't wait to dive in to more of the city and do all of those things that you suggested. I
Yeah.
really
And
appreciate you coming on today.
thank you so much for having me. And for folks who are listening who may not be in Pittsburgh, in your city, I bet you there might be a Shakespeare in the Park. I bet you there's a great art museum and there's some great dance happening. So be sure to check it out and explore your city too.
Yeah, absolutely. Explore your city and all of those things share stories. I always say somebody's got a story out there to tell. And if you're willing to listen to it, it might inspire your life or change your life for sure. Rosalind, it's been a dream and really exciting to hear all of those wonderful things that we can explore in Pittsburgh. And tell us your book title one more time.
100 Things to Do in Pittsburgh Before You Die. And it's at 100thingspittsburgh.com.
Don't forget to visit my website as well, allegrodancecompany.net, for more information about our touring company, or visit annaharsh.com for dance lessons online. Thanks everyone for listening today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Dance Floor. I'm your host, Anna Harsh, and until next time, keep moving on the dance floor.